Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Horse Center as I make it my second attempt to make it through a show without a coughing fit with Swiss Army Shawn and Vernon Bush. Vernon, how are you this evening?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay.
So the last time we were supposed to get together, if I remember correctly, somebody went to go see Rod Stewart and Cheap Trick. So how was that?
Actually, I went to see Cheap Trick, and my sister kept me there to see Rod Stewart.
Seems like a likely story.
I wanted to see Cheap Trick.
Oh yeah. So how was that?
It was awesome. Really, it was really good show.
I saw.
But you had an entertaining guest in my brother. So.
Oh yes, he was definitely very entertaining. Gave us some good horses, and was just mentioning now that the horse is going to be in the Breeders' Cup winning your in race at hopefully at Kentucky Downs, and then we'll see you down in Keeneland come November. So we look forward to that.
Definitely. Yes.
So you're back on the horses. You're back racing. How's it going?
Doing good. Doing good. I've ridden, I think, 43 horses at Belterra. I've won 6 races, 5 seconds, and I think 5 thirds.
So
I'm very picky on what I ride. I don't like. I don't have an agent, and I'm just doing what I want to do. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it, and it's really enjoying right now. I'm having a blast.
Was it more fun than seeing? Oh my Lord, I can't. With Cheap Trick, or is riding horses more fun?
Riding horses is much more fun. I get up at 4:10 every morning, and I can't wait to get my day started. I enjoy getting on. I get on around 7 to 8 horses every morning. Tomorrow I ride 1 tomorrow afternoon. So, but I love what I do.
Now, are you finding that you have to change your exercise routine a little bit? What are you doing to stay fit, healthy, and ready to continue on rolling?
Well, I do watch what I eat, not drastically, because I tack 121. I like maintaining about weighing around 117, 118, where I don't reduce. Like I said, I get on anywhere from 7 to 8 horses every morning. And I do that every day, and I feel good.
Good. That's good to hear. And now you came back after some time off, and you came back to a whole bunch of new rules. What are So, okay. It sounds like there's a little bit of a story behind the so tell us the story.
Well, the first day, I think first or second day, the rules come in. I'm coming down the lane. I can see I can win it. And apparently I hit my horse 10 times. 6 times right before the wire, and I got up by a nose, and it cost me. So, I have to learn to adapt to these new rules. I have to get away from something that I've been doing for 45 years. And it's going to be a little difficult trying to count while riding a race and seeing what's going on in front of you and what's around you, counting whip strikes. So you got to do what you got to do.
So how after 40 plus years riding one way, how do you make that change? Is it something you have to just be overtly difficult? Just something you have to be overtly conscious of?
Yes, it's very difficult. Since that time, I've waited actually till I straighten away, even to start really getting into a horse. I'll start hand riding and pushing them going into the turn, or I'll tap them on the shoulder, to let them know it's time. But being really aggressive, I wait till we straighten away and they get on the right lead.
Do you feel like that's maybe cost you a race or two along the way?
Of course it has. Of course it has, because, I see things that I could be doing different. but you know, I don't want a fine and I don't want days again.
Yes,
Which
I
I
can
mean,
understand that.
even the steward says to me they never thought in their lifetime that they'd have to penalize someone for trying to win a race.
Yeah, I can understand that. And not only that, but you were there that day at Belterra where they had the confusion and they actually DQ'd a horse. So,
Right.
what was that day like when that? What was like to talk in a jock's room after that?
Well, that was the same time as mine. You know, I'd win the race the day before, and when they disqualified that horse and took him off the board, you know, it was utter confusion. Nobody knew really what the rules were, and I can understand that. You know, you go from being able to really ride a horse and all of a sudden being told you can't do it the way you've been doing it your whole life. So, but like I said, the stewards, it was just utter confusion. You know.
Vernon, when you came back, how many races did it take till you started feeling like yourself again?
I'd say about 15, 20. And then I rode like 15 in Tampa. When I got back up here to Belterra and I started riding more, it's like the first horse I rode for my brother, the horse Win, you know, and then things just progressively got better. And I feel like I know I won't be the rider I was when I was in my 20s, 30s, or early 40s because of the time away I've had and being 61 years old now. But, you know, it's more enjoyable now. But like I said, I'm not physically, I can't go toe to toe with a younger rider riding from like the half-mile pole. I have to I have to ride a thinking man's race now, you know, where I have to analyze what's going on, feel what's under the horse underneath me, how much horse I have, where everybody's setting their position and watching what they're going to do and try maybe get the jump on them before they do, you know.
You mentioned you're 61 years old. In your head, what's your timetable looking like? How many more years do you think you're going to do this?
Like I was telling a friend of mine today that until I really get tired of it, I mean, right now, like I said, I lost 4.5 years. And I'm just doing it right now because I enjoy it. I mean, I was talking to Perry Utes the other day, and I was telling him, apparently I still like this because I'm having dreams of riding races still, you know, so it's still very much part of me, you know, just like when I was a kid.
Absolutely. You mentioned you have no agent. How does that work?
Oh, it's all right. I go around, I take care of my own business. I have people, I'm listed in the condition book. People call me, ask me, what we're doing, if I'm open in a certain race, and I'll tell them yes or no. I think so far this year I've only had like 4 double calls, you know, and I made the right decision on every one of them.
So you're riding at Belterra right now. Do you have any other tracks that you're going to be riding at?
I've ridden at Churchill this year. I've went up to Indiana. I had a couple thirds on horses up there. I was supposed to go to Mountaineer yesterday to ride 2 races on the turf, but it was raining and they scratched. They took it off the turf and the trainer scratched. So I had a trainer, ask me if I wanted to go to Charlestown this weekend to ride a horse up. I think it's a 250,000, which was, you know, it made me feel good that I was even considered, you know, that he asked me to do that, still believing in me that, you know, that my experience can get the job done. You know, the horse has only run one time and he won impressively here at Belterra. So I'll find out tomorrow when the overnight comes out, how many am I on here I think I got like 3 horses going in for Friday here, and I'll see what the race looks like at Charlestown.
Do you have any horses that are coming up that look really live?
I ride one tomorrow. He's run some decent races in Cleveland, and he's going to be all right. But I have that La La Angel that I was disqualified on for winning. She's in. I just run second on her in her last start. She's live. Let me see what else.
Well, you have Zach's Golden Oldie on. Let's see.
That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. It looks like it says the 24th to me. And the 23rd. It looked like tomorrow is Riding in the Wind. The
Riding in the Wind. Okay, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the horse coming down from Thistle.
Mm-hmm. And then on the 25th, it looks like you have 3 mounts that day: Jimmy's Lifestyle, La La Angel, and Miss Sovilia. I think those.
Yes, now Jimmy, I like that horse. I ran second on him his start before. Last time I rode him, I got pressed. It said I was ridden hard down the backside. I wasn't pushing him, but he got trapped down on the inside, and I got bumped around. And I don't think he liked it too much being down in there, and he retreated. He's going a mile this time, and he's the only live speed in the race. And I'm hoping that I can just let him come out of there and get him to relax and see how far he can go. You know, I like him. He's a live horse.
Do you ever bust on your brother, George, that you should be on Joyful Heart?
Yeah, he knows that I'd like to ride him, but you know, he has to do what his owners want, and I understand the business, and you know, that's just the way it goes. You know, I cannot see. That's some of the things that I used to let bother me, and I believe that's what one of the issues that I had, pertaining back to my back history of my addiction, and I had to learn to get over stuff like that, because you know it was driving me insane, and by that I almost ended up basically doing a lot of damage to myself, you know, and it took me a while to mature to overcome all that, and I'm working on that on a daily basis. I try to have my day better than it was the day before, and I just don't sweat the small stuff anymore.
How good does it feel not to sweat the small stuff anymore?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I go to bed with a clean conscience that I didn't offend anybody or hurt anybody. My life is so good right now. You know, I'm coming up on 1.5 years sober, and it's just my life is just unbelievably different, and I actually I pat myself on the back because I'm doing something that I didn't think I could do, you know, and you know, and I'm back to riding races and doing things that I love, which I was my own worst enemy, and I tried to take things away from myself, you know, not knowing it.
Well, unfortunately, too many people fall into that trap. It's good to see that you've gotten out of that trap. And obviously, last time we spoke, you had mentioned that you do help some of the younger jockeys to make sure they avoid some of the same pitfalls. Tell us a little bit about that and how you help out.
All right. Well, when I see riders having problems or getting angry after a race, you know, I'll go talk to them and say, you know, listen, it's history. Let it go. You can't change what just happened. You know, you got your next race to think forward about, you know, just concentrate on what's coming up. Forget about what happened. You can't change it, you know? And I mean, I used to come in a room and I'd throw a helmet and I'd scream and yell and just act like a freaking moron. you know, where now I just come in the room and what happens, happen. I can't change, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All I can do is just try to ride my next race the best of my ability.
And in terms of getting ready for the races, how are you a DRF guy, film guy? What do you do differently now? Say that your head's clearer than you used to do before.
Well, I'll look at a horse's past performance if I have not ridden them. I'll sometimes look at a film or or I'll talk to the trainer and see how they want me to do it. But basically, I mean, if I've ridden a horse once, I kind of know how he likes to be ridden. Or if I know that I did something that was wrong, I can change it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go through the day. I'll go through the racing form and look at a whole horse's charts and watch replays.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I don't really watch a whole lot of replays. Shawn, I know you like the replay angle, but it's not my favorite thing.
I like the replay angle if I have time, and I can tell you 95% of the time I don't have the time to do it. But I would love to watch more replays, especially when it says, you know, they had trouble or something like that. Everybody's interpretation of trouble is different.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So.
Right. In fact, I rode a horse last week that had been dwelting. It said his last 4 starts, he dwelt. And they put me on him. And I took him to the gate in the morning. And I told the gate crew I wanted to try something different. And I did. And it worked perfect. I ran 3rd on the horse. And, you know, and the trainer was like ecstatic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just by watching, you know, from my experience of doing things and, you know, being able to solve a problem, you know.
So with your experience, you mentioned that you had an idea that perhaps maybe a trainer didn't have. So do young trainers perhaps come to you when they have issues and say, "Hey, Vernon, you know, I've got this issue. You know, what would you suggest doing?" How much of that sort of stuff happens that people might not be familiar with?
Well, I exercise horses too for other people. The trainer I get on horses for, every day he asks me my opinion on what I think, you know, and I've come up. I mentioned a couple things, and you know, and they've worked, you know. But it makes me feel good that they have confidence in me to actually ask, you know. So, but it just feels good, you know.
Any thoughts of when the horse racing is done in terms of being a jockey, becoming a trainer, or you know, what would the next steps be?
No. I was married to a woman that was a trainer, and I was really in the middle of it, and nope. And being a jockey agent is another thing that I do not want to do. I would like to go the way of being an official. I'd like to go to steward school, and that's what I'd like to work. I feel that if I'm up on the roof being an official or a steward, then I can come and help other people. I help other riders, and try to help them in their career. Pick their mistakes, show them their mistakes, what they're doing, and you know, just try to be a positive influence towards younger people.
Sounds like a good idea to me, Shawn. What do you think?
Absolutely. So you said about your turnaround. What was the key to that turnaround? To becoming sober? Yes.
Well, my life was, I mean, it was just going along. I was riding here and there whenever I wanted to up till 2018. I mean, it was, I was, I don't know, it wasn't going perfect, but I wasn't making it go perfect. I wasn't letting myself go. I had a depression problem, and I wasn't addressing my problems the right way. I continued to drink, and which made things worse. And then I get out of my funk and I go to work, and I just wasn't a pleasant person. I was angry at myself for putting myself in a situation I was in, you know. And then after I got hurt, I would just sit on the couch. Stop it. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. He's got something to say.
Yeah. I would just sit on the couch and just drink, and my life wasn't going anywhere. And finally, one day, I just said, I've had enough. And I started going back to AA, and I continued to do that. And the progress through that 12-step program has benefited me, and my life has gotten better, where I've been able to talk to people that have been in my situation and know where I'm coming from. And, you know, it's just, I had to turn my life around because it was going nowhere. It was a dead end road. And I knew in my heart that I had something to give back to this sport that I took for granted for so long, you know, and now I'm able to do that, you know. And I'm sorry.
You mentioned you pat yourself on the back. You have a lot of fans that do that as well, and Rich and I do that as well, because there's a lot of people that don't overcome it and are where you are. And you're so positive now on social media and stuff. You know, you take on the fans and stuff in a positive outlook, which is really good.
You know, I post something positive every day, you know. I post it for me, first of all, you know, and then if anybody else gets something positive out of it, you know, that's good. I mean, because you have to go through life looking at it, looking positive, because one positive action creates a ripple, which more positive things happen. And when other people if people see you smiling, it makes them smile. That's what I believe in my heart, and it spreads, you know. And I just try to make somebody else's day better, you know. And I when I talk to people, I just say I say positive things to them, and you know, it makes my life better, you know, and then I hope it makes their life better.
So in terms of when Belterra's over, where do you plan on riding then?
Well, November 1st, I'm heading back to Tampa, and I'm going to soak up the sunshine for the winter, because Kentucky has a bad habit of getting in the teens in December and January, and Tampa likes staying around 40 to 70 degrees area, which I can handle a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% sure. My folks live down there in Clearwater, and
yeah, well, that's why I'm in Newport Richie.
Okay. Yeah. They used to actually live in Newport Richie. So they moved down to Tampa. I guess they're going to move again. I don't know. My brother and them are working on something, but in any case, I can certainly understand the desire. You know, I'm a little bit behind you, not a whole lot. And
that's right. You know, in all the years that I rode up at this place in the winter times in Suffolk Downs, I deserve staying somewhere nice in the winter.
Oh yes, because the winter, the cold chills you to the bone, and the older you get, the deeper in the bone it gets.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Indeed, and I can't imagine. I haven't had any of the spills that you've had, and I know that when it gets cold, the aches ache a little bit more. So I can't blame you for heading down there to Florida.
I mean, I got a plate and 12 screws in my right ankle. I have a plate and 19 screws in my left femur. And they actually had to replace my hip because I fractured it so bad. So that was all part of the delays coming back to riding.
So tell us about your experiences in airports then.
In what?
In airports.
Oh, well, I have to inform them that I'm a walking $6 million man.
Indeed. I can imagine when you go through the metal detector, it just goes off, huh?
Yes. When they do the wand, yes.
Your legs beeping, your hips beeping, everything's beeping, and they're like, what's going on here?
Yes. And I have to explain to them what's going on, you know.
Bob says he was talking us off your mounts now. LOL. No, he's not talking off the mounts. Yeah, no, he's picking the ones he wants, he says, and he's doing a good job of picking the ones when he's had a double call of picking the right one, and that's what we want to see jockeys do, right, Shawn?
Yeah, absolutely. How big was that? You had a riding double a few months back where you won 2 races in a day. Now, to other people, that's not a big deal, but you only ride, maybe 3-4 races a day, and you won 2 that day.
Right. Well, I only rode 2 that day, and
there you go.
I win them both, and one was for my brother George, and the other one is a pretty nice Ohio-bred filly I ride. Her name is I'm Legit. So she's a nice Ohio-bred, but it felt really good. I mean, and that day when I went on her, I'm coming down the lane, and I had nowhere to go in like the last 70 yards. The inside fence opened up and I shot through, and I got lucky,
Do you find that you still have the same nerve, or do you have to kind of rev yourself up a little bit more?
No, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I love riding, and it's just what I've been doing. I do the same thing I did when I was younger,
So you mentioned that you see you're dreaming about races. Do you race better in your dreams, or do you race better on the real track?
I do better in my dreams. How's that?
For sure. Shawn, anything else before we let Vernon roll?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate you coming on. God,
I do have one thing to say. I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day, who basically we grew up together. And he's a jockey's agent now, and he actually had my book at one time, and he was my valet one time at Rockingham Park. And his name is Steve Rushing, and he just picked up Jose Ortiz's book, and I sent him a little text. I said, "Man," I was about to send you my message that I was wanting you to take my book again, and he said that would have been a tough decision, Vernon,
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, Steve and I are very, very good friends, and I am proud of his accomplishments because when I was riding for W.W. Perry at Suffolk Downs, he started as a hot walker, and then he was a groom. Then he was my exercise boy for Billy Perry and my ex-wife Lynette, and then Rockingham Park, he was my valet. The year I was leading rider, one of the years I was leading rider there. And after that, he started being an agent, and he hasn't looked back since,
How difficult do you think that will be having 2 brothers? I mean, being in the business,
Steve,
you're a jockey. Yeah.
I don't think it'll be a problem for Steve because you carry 2 books around, and you just mark each one, and who, one rider's been all the people that he's been riding for consistently, and then the other brother's riding for consistently, and you go from there, and then you just try to put them on the best horse. And I know Steve can do that. He's one of the best agents I ever had.
So last time we mentioned that you went to go see Rod Stewart. Not Cheap Trick. Who's next on the concert? Who's next on the concert list?
My brother and I are going to go see the Who.
Oh, the Who? Yes, they're coming around in Chicago not too long ago. On my way out to Saratoga, he had mentioned that you might be a Metallica guy. On the way out to Saratoga to meet Shawn, and then I stopped in Buffalo to see Metallica. I don't know if you like that music or not, but if you do, definitely worth seeing.
I seen Metallica in 1996. And my brother and I are going to go see the Who on October 9th.
Fantastic. Should be a good show. I'm thinking about going to see them here myself. Maybe I might go check out Sammy Hagar this weekend too. Probably the last chance you get a probably chance to see like any kind of Van Halen stuff for sure with Eddie Van Halen being gone. Well, we appreciate your time, Vernon, and look forward to seeing you in the winner's circle.
Being asked to do it again.
Oh yes, and we'll have you back 100% for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks again. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye. I'm the big head now, Shawn.
Jamie never screws that up. Jamie doesn't even take one for the team sometimes with that.
Yes, I knew when I pressed the button there that was going to work that way. So I
know.
I let it be, Shawn. That's the Beatles, not the Who, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
So before we move on, I want to make sure, because we were gone, the play of the day with the professor, make sure you head on over. It's not too late to see the Marlins. There is a link in the description and at here and YouTube, as well as, I don't know if I put it in YouTube, but I will put it in YouTube again. You'll find the links over on our Facebook page, along with the play of the day for baseball. College football is coming up shortly, and he's also makes the professor college football picks. Shawn and I will be making some NFL picks when the season gets started on Friday nights. Looking forward to that. So trying to keep everybody busy with different ways they can beat degenerates, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully stuff in their pocket and not empty in their pocket.
Well, some weeks you're stuffing, some weeks you're emptying. You just hope at the end of the season that you have a little bit more money in the account than you started with, right?
Yeah, and I checked out the picks with the professor today. They actually talked about, there's a handful of games on Saturday already, college football, and they previewed them already. So that was cool. Yeah,
so make sure you head on over there to Picks with the Professor. Professor Sides is a actual statistics teacher, created his models, and they've done exceptionally well. So he's turning a profit betting baseball. And, there's a lot of so-called professional bettors that can't turn a profit betting baseball. So make sure you head on over to that. You can watch his full show over on YouTube as well. While you're there, please get into the comment section and be loud and obnoxious and let them know that horse racing today, Rich and Shawn and Jamie and Terry and Tom sent you over there. So, Shawn, we can kind of rewind a little bit. When we went to Shawn and I finally met in person out in Saratoga. That was fun, right, Shawn?
Yes, it was. Absolutely.
And it seems to me now, in hindsight, might have been a little bit of a super spreader event, it looks to me like, because you had Joel Rosario. Well, that's not Joel Rosario. That's somebody else who's in the news, Chad Brown. But Joel Rosario not feeling very well, and apparently jockey Jose Gomez sits out after a positive test. So it looks like I'm not the only one, Shawn.
Yeah, but good thing is you didn't really spread it to anybody, because Jose Gomez and Rosario is not two people that we came in contact with at all. So so you probably picked
it's
it up.
It's not my fault apparently then that those guys.
No, you just somehow left with it, but you didn't give it to anybody else. That's a good thing. So
man, they talk about it, just a mess, man. I tell you, I don't know if you can still hear my voice. I sound I sound so Chicagoan to me, very nasally today, more nasally than usual. Which is, the Chicago twang there for sure. Speaking of Chad Brown, I guess we didn't really have a chance to cover that news, Shawn. Interesting to me, he returns to the races, does not comment on arrest. And of course, there is a girl at his side in the picture, which I find kind of interesting. Apparently the girlfriend, I don't know for sure if that's the girlfriend or not, but that's who he showed up the track with. No comments, he said, regarding his situation, but it does seem like more news has made its way into the public domain, and perhaps the majority of the story that he told is pretty accurate in terms of somebody coming into his house in the middle of the night, apparently, from what I've read, striking him while he was sleeping, and to which he was woken up and startled. So I think that the likely outcome of that is that someone's going to get paid. It's all going to go away. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. The whole thing's unfortunate. I know we didn't talk about it Thursday night. It's very hard when you get into these legal matters to touch base on it. And we had enough going on Thursday night. We brought up his name a million times because his horses were running, but I was hosting the first time, you're producing everything else, so we couldn't really comment on it. I will say it's crazy if the story is right that he gave a key to this lady and then he has another girl in bed, and you gave somebody else the key that can walk in at any time. It's kind of crazy, just but who knows what actually happened.
Well, I mean, she came out online and said what happened, right? She said she went in and opened up the door that I guess she was trying to contact him, couldn't find him, and then opened up the door, and then because she had a key, and they're on off. She said that on and off couple.
Yeah.
So apparently they were off, and maybe she didn't know it. I don't know. That's the situation there, but I imagine that you're going to see that probably. I think both sides probably are going to have to admit that they did some stuff wrong, maybe get some counseling, and I think you'll probably see it go away.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate all the way around. Hopefully, it's not as bad as it seemed, and everything works out.
To me, a lot of the not funny part, but a lot of the way people act on Twitter sometimes kills me afterwards. Everybody knows everything. Like they're in the room. Everybody's out, put all sorts of accusations out online about how people behave like this in practice. And it's not, it's not something that's a one-off event, yet there's no evidence. And then on top of that, I mean, if you're going to make an accusation like that, at least back it up with something, right? And then you have other people who are demanding apologies from people who make jokes. They get the apologies and then they stomp on their throat publicly. I mean, come on, people. Can't we act better than this on Twitter?
Yeah, the whole thing, both sides are wrong. I mean, the jokes were crazy too. I mean, you put that stuff out there, it's not something to joke about. And just some of these people, they just want it. It's the people that want attention, and God forbid, even if it's negative attention, they want attention. They can't just sit aside and leave the legal process take. If you want to talk about it with your friends or whatever, talk about it with your friends, but don't put it on your social media with your name.
I think you can make some. I think you can make some. I don't know. I don't know when people are too serious. I feel like in the world today, right?
Well, yeah, but this is a serious matter on what he was, accused of. It's serious either way.
But my point is that people come out, make accusations that there's other behaviors like this on Twitter, yet there's been no evidence of any other type of behaviors like this. I mean, there was the situation where he got fined for not paying his staff correctly, but that seems to be unrelated to physical violence against people that you're supposed to be in a relationship with. Probably poor judgment, I would say. So maybe we have a case of poor judgment a little bit more frequently than we like there. Speaking of poor judgment, maybe, I don't know, but Jamie Ness is suspended supposedly for 6 months, but it's going to appeal. I think you're seeing more and more of these things happen. This one, though, is really interesting to me, too, because the drug apparently is a hallucinogenic. I don't know, man. How do hallucinogenics help horses? You want to help me? So it says crabs and beer here tested positive for bufotenine, which according to Britannica.com is a weak hallucinogenic agent active by intravenous injection. So how does helping a horse hallucinate win races?
I have no idea. I never know how any of these drugs, you hear all these weird things that they're putting in, and I don't know what, crabs and beer did not test positive for crabs and beer is all I know. It tested positive for something else. Unfortunately, again, Jamie Ness, there's been a lot surrounding him before. He wins at a high percentage. So they've been not out to get him, but they've been searching, there's been questions before, and this horse did test positive. It's not the only horse he's ever had that's tested positive. I know there's other tracks that have gotten him before, so it's unfortunate. Again, another trainer, like you said, these trainers, they have a ton of horses, and they get caught with this. So what is going to happen with their horses eventually? Or they'll just, he'll go out of PA and go somewhere else. That's the thing too. These trainers just keep on moving.
Well, that's not going to be able to happen right now in the new HISA environment. That's for sure. These guys should be banned for life. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think people should get due process. There should be some set rules, like first time you get this, second time you get that, third time. But I still don't understand how a hallucinogenic helps a horse win a race. I don't know. I mean,
I didn't have time to research that before the show. I'm sure
apparently it's in canary grass, and if you eat the canary grass, then you can get detected in a horse's urine sample. Now there's going to be a bunch of kids running around eating canary grass. Yeah. So that wraps it up for this Monday, bringing us wire to wire. Shawn, tell us a little bit about the rest of the week's slate of guests.
So tomorrow we have Hall of Fame jockey Javier Castellano. And
who
then
we
Wednesday,
briefly said hello to in Saratoga.
yes, and then Wednesday I also got to say hello to Eric Cancel, who is another New York jockey that will be on the show Wednesday.
Ah, fantastic. So it'll be a perfect week. We don't know what we have set up for Thursday yet, right?
No, but it looks like it will be Saratoga. They got all the big races again, so
Yes.
I'll work on something for Saratoga.
Fantastic. Friday, Tom and I will probably be back for Foreign Fridays. Looking forward to that. Tomorrow, I will be back by myself, I suppose. I don't know when Terry will return for the Colonial Downs card. Wednesday will be Saratoga. Thursday, back for Del Mar. And until then, Shawn, any final thoughts before we get up out of here this Monday night?
Well, also today I announced, I talked to Tom Amos today. He just won his 4,000 win as trainer 2 weeks ago. He will come on our show Tuesday, October 4th. So
that's a long time from now. I hope I can remember between here and there.
I always give you a reminder over a list. So we'll
yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Well, that takes us from wire to wire to this day. A lot of favorites winning today at Park Expo. It's good to get back into the saddle, so to speak. 13 races all by myself the entire time, Shawn, trying not to cough, which was, I mean, it's a funny thing. When you tell yourself not to cough, I'm not going to cough. The first word that came out of my mouth, I felt like I had to cough. I had that feeling right there the entire time.
Yeah, I still do that where I have this thing where I talk in public or even on here to where I constantly feel like I have to cough. So if I get a couple minutes, I always hit the mute button and cough just to get it out of your system. It's something I have to get over yet, but you have it that you actually have to cough. So that's even worse.
Yes.
I felt bad for you because I watched a little bit of it. And then when you picked Parks and I saw the 13 races, I was like, oh, this is going to be long for you. But you did really good to get through that.
Well, I did my best. So I don't know, you're talking about us or are you talking about Vernon there, Bob? I think he's talking about Vernon, right? For sure. Definitely looking younger. Yeah. Certainly not me. I'm feeling a lot older. I understand where Vernon's coming from in the trying to get the mind cleaner as you get older so that you can enjoy life more. All right, Shawn, that takes us today from beginning to end. Certainly look forward to catching up with everybody tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. And as always, we hope that no matter what you do for the rest of this day, till we meet again tomorrow, that everything ends up in the
winner circle.
Absolutely. Thank you and have a fantastic Monday night.